Very good evening to all. I am thankful to Sudan Surgical Club members giving me opportunity to talk on MR rectum surgeon perspective. Another wonderful webinar we are going to start. I bring greeting from Symbiosis University International University located in outskirts of Pune in 100 acres of green land having multiple universities inside. I come from Symbiosis University Hospital, that is a medical university. I bring greeting from Symbiosis University Hospital Line Research Center, Pune, and Namaste from India. As compared to colon, if there is a management of CA rectum, there are many issues. Distance metastasis as compared to colon it is less, but most important issue is local recurrence. At the same time, doing morbid surgery on the rectum has a big impact on quality of life. The goals of rectal cancer surgery is giving good oncological outcome without compromising quality of life of the patient. When it comes the treatment of rectal cancer surgery as compared to other cancer, it is completely different. If you come to know that available modality, we are having surgery also in 15 centimeter of rectum. It may be high anterior resection, low anterior resection, ultra low anterior resection, intrasphincteric resection, abdominoperineal resection, and now there is extra levator APR. And if you come to radiation, the radiation treatment also short course giving 5 gyri for 5 days, long course giving for almost 1 month, and total neoadjuvant chemo where chemotherapy and radiation completely giving beforehand of surgery. And chemotherapy also, it may be neoadjuvant, it may be adjuvant, it may be sandwich, it may be combined. And if the available modality combined for particular cancer depending upon the characteristic of the patient, depending upon the cancer stage, cancer presentation, there are multiple permutation and combination. We can have upfront surgery, we can have short course or long course, upfront radiation followed by surgery, that is neoadjuvant treatment. We can have complete chemo RT and chemotherapy completion before the hand of surgery and complete the surgery. And also very early T1 disease which is accessible, which can go for local excision. It may be TEM, it may be TAMIS, or if patient has underwent a long course chemo RT and very well responder, we can think of wait and watch policy also. The local recurrence is the main important factor, that is Achilles heel of carcinoma rectum management. There are many reasons for local recurrence, but few of them are most important. Bill Hill described a wonderful TME concept. If we follow the TME concept, local recurrence is even less than 5% in early T3 disease. But if you violate the TME concept, local recurrence bound to miss adverse prognostic factor. Important bad prognostic factor such as extramural invasion, the metastatic node, MRF positive, CRM threatened. These are the important thing. If we miss preoperatively, chance of local recurrence is very high. And most important thing is treatment planning. Which patient should go for afferent surgery, which patient should have a short course radiation, and which patient should have long course radiation. All things we have to decide properly in multidisciplinary meeting. When it comes to management of CA rectum, there are two schools of thought. What we follow is NCCN guideline till now, that is all disease T1, T2 early disease N0, M0 should go for surgery. If it is limited to submucosa, can go for local excision, TEM, TAMIS, or if it is a T2 disease, any adverse factor, nodal disease, anything is there, has to go for TME surgery. But this category is very limited, maybe less than 10 or 5% of rectum only will present in this stage. But Most of the patient that is a locally advanced tumor, that is a T3, T4, N1, N2 local unresectable tumor, has to go for neoadjuvant chemotherapy, that is long course chemotherapy followed by surgery. But if you see this chunk of locally advanced carcinoma rectum is more than 90% of patient, all patient where it is starting T2 disease having desmoplastic reaction into the mesorectal fat also appears as a T3 on MRI, and also unresectable tumor which is involving the surrounding organs such as bladder, prostate or seminal vesicle. All patients are going into the long course chemotherapy, which is not acceptable. So we need something, the tailored approach for this locally advanced carcinoma rectum based on the patient and tumor factor, so that we can deliver optimal therapy. We should not over radiate the tumor, and also we should not allow local recurrence. So that is the main challenge at present for the carcinoma rectum. So important shortcoming of TNM staging and based on that NCCN treatment is, one is it doesn't consider mesorectal fascia involvement or not, that is circumferential resection margin, which is a most important criteria, prognostic criteria has been mentioned at present in a lot of studies. Also nodal status, it doesn't mean that mesorectal node is important. Mesorectal node from 5 mm to 9 mm, it may be metastatic or non-metastatic based on the nodal characteristic, whether heterogeneous or homogeneous or irregularity or distinct border. But it is also important that if anything extra mesorectal node is there, which is more important negative prognostic marker. And also if it is a mesorectal node which is located near the mural tissue is not bad. If it is located mesorectal fascia, which will be the bad prognostic factor, which has to be stressed, which is not stressed. And also EMVI, extramural venous invasion in T3 disease, has more bad prognostic than the patient without extramural invasion of early T3. And we need to understand the relation of the tumor with the sphincter complex, because the tumor located very close to the levator in spite of it is T2 may need a radiation to downstage or downgrade the tumor so that we can get a negative margin and tumor negative margin. And also based on relation of the tumor with the sphincter complex, we can have multiple different operative planning. So we need to understand these things beforehand going for any planned treatment for carcinoma rectum. Compared to NCCN, the European approach is something different. Here, they have classified a tumor as a good tumor or low risk tumor where a MRF, mesorectal fascia, is negative, EMU is negative, node and METs are not there, and patient is early T3 or T1, T2 disease. Those patient risk of local recurrence is less than 10. If you follow good TME concept, it may be less than 5%, then TME only sufficient. If we go for mesorectal fascia negative, but some adverse factor, that is node is there, EMUA is there, or T3 late T3, that is T3 more than 5 mm involvement, T3C or D, or early T2 T3 where distal margin is a issue. Distal margin is also considered to be a CRM. The T4 disease only involving posterior vaginal wall, where we can think of bad disease, that is intermediate disease, local recurrence may range from 10 to 20%. These patients definitely need something to sterilize locally, which may be short course RT at present. Lot of evidence is coming, or we can think of long course chemotherapy. If patient is having mesorectal fascia involvement, lateral node, that is extra mesorectal node involvement, or T4 which is beyond posterior vaginal wall, these patients are bad ugly disease, that is high risk disease, local recurrence is more than 20%. These patients should get a proper long course chemo-RT followed by TME. So it appears more rational treatment based on what kind of disease is there in locally advanced pattern. If we go for treatment of carcinoma rectum, many factor which is deciding. So important is T disease, nodal status, distant metastasis, extramesorectal node, morphological pattern of the disease, extramural venous invasion, circumferential resection margin status, and distant from anal verge or anorectal junction, also relation with anal sphincter complex. So we will see how to deal with them. To disclose, most of the images I have taken from this mainly three article. These I think I recommend these articles should read to understand the MR rectum in detail. So also few of the images I have taken from the Google and Shacklefold. One important disclosure is I am not radiologist, I am the surgeon. I am trying to give approach towards the MRI for deciding kind of treatment which surgeon has to understand. Can be given. These are the recommendation has been mentioned in NCCN protocol. MRI hardware related minimum magnetic strength. Am I audible? Anything getting disconnected? Hello, sir.
Yeah,
Hello.
the sound sometimes get disconnected, but it is all right. It's all
Oh,
right. It's clear.
oh,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah.
A minimum magnetic field strength is required is minimum magnetic field strength required is 1.5 Tesla. 1.5 or 3 Tesla MRI neither has proven demonstrated superiority. Both is equivalent. At least 1.5 Tesla is needed. External surface body coil are adequate. Endorectal coil are not routinely recommended because here whatever we get the most of the tumor are locally advanced tumor. Our main concern is CRM. If we take endorectal coil, the field of vision is smaller. A CRM status cannot be commented good on the endorectal coils, and also extra mesorectal node is difficult to visualize if we are going for truss or endorectal coil, and also if patient is having an obstructed tumor at the mid or low rectum, it's difficult to put the coil. So routine endorectal coil not recommended. MR sequences, it is T2 weighted, non-fat suppressed 2D sequences with orthogonal plane are sufficient. Means T2 weighted images are sufficient for any kind of primary staging of the CA rectum. Slice thickness is minimum 3 mm, 1 mm to 3 mm, anything will be needed. Axial coronal section.
Dr. Jankar?
Hello, sir. Yes,
Just
sir.
please, for the moderator, please, I ask everybody to mute your audio because there is some background noises. Please mute your audio, all of. Okay, you can start, Mr. Jankar. You can continue. Sorry for the interruption. Mr. Janka, unmute yourself, please. Unmute yourself. Yes, Selma, and moderator, please unmute Mr. Janker.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, now you are.
A screen is visible.
It's visible, yes.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's all right.
Okay. Slice thickness is 1 to 3 mm. Axial coronal section perpendicular parallel with a rectum if it is upper and middle rectum. In lower rectum, it should be taken as anal canal for the standard for taking the axial and coronal section. If it is a T1 sequence, is routinely not required in case of MRI. In fact, contrast images also not required if it is a staging and restaging. Diffusion weighted images, these are more favorable if it is a restaging is needed or recurrent setting is there, in that it is useful. Fat saturated images, fat suppressed images, routinely not necessary, because if we use a fat suppressed image, the delineation between mesorectal fascia and mesorectal fat, which can be easily done in T2, which will get prevented. So field of vision, we need a small field of vision sequences around 5 centimeter above the tumor and till the anal verge. And if we want to cover complete extra mesorectal nodes and other thing, we need a large FOE sequences. These are the basic standard I thought I will cover. Let's go for actual what is happening in the images. Any MRI rectum is there, it will be having axial plane. Those are the perpendicular to the rectal wall. If we are having axial plane, we need to understand what are the things we need to see in that axial plane. That is a mesorectal. From inside to outside, if we come, inside to outside we come, we need to see the mucosa and submucosa. Mucosal hypointense, submucosal hyperintense, followed by the muscularis propria muscle layer, and followed by mesorectal fat, that is a fat, and last is covering up the mesorectal fat is mesorectal fascia. These are the things we need to see. In that, we have to understand this is the mesorectal fascia. Inside this is whatever we are seeing, the mesorectal fat is there. Second one is mesorectum and mesorectal fascia. This we need to delineate on any MR rectum. Followed by, we need to see the walls of the rectal walls and the anterior peritoneal reflection, that is called seagull sign. Axial and sagittal section, we need to see the anterior peritoneal reflection, because once anterior peritoneal reflection ends, below that it will be a low rectum. So we need to delineate the anterior peritoneal reflection to know where is exactly tumor is there. So in sagittal plane, we need to label whether it is a low rectum, mid rectum or high rectum. That is, we need to see anal verge, anorectal junction. This is the peritoneal fold. Here peritoneum means bladder. Posterior superior of the bladder, peritoneal fold will be there. Below that, whatever tumor is coming, it will be the low rectal tumor. We can see the presacral space here, and this is an anorectal junction. We have to delineate the anal verge from their distance, anorectal ring from their distance, retrorectal space, and parts of the rectum we can delineate here. From anal verge, 5 centimeter will be low rectum, 5 to 10 will be the mid rectum, more than 10 will be the high rectum. Or also we can delineate that this is a peritoneal reflection. Below the peritoneal reflection, once peritoneum is over, below that we can label it as a low rectum. Kind of thing we need to understand over the sagittal films. In coronal film, we have to understand the sphincter. Mainly it is the relation of the lesion with the sphincter. When it comes to low rectal tumor, the coronal plane plays very big important role, because we can see here the complete black is external sphincter and intersphincteric plane, internal sphincter, intersphincteric plane, and levator complex. This is the levator. We can understand those things. Normal rectum, you can see here normal rectum from anal verge till 5 centimeter, we can label it as a low rectum, mid rectum and upper rectum. This is a low rectum, mid rectum and upper rectum. This is the image we are showing axial section rectosigmoid junction. and this is the tumor where we can see the walls of the rectum. Here we can see the innermost mucosal wall, which is the hypointense, and submucosal layer, which is the hyperintense, and muscle layer. This is the muscle layer. We can see here muscle layer, that is hypointense. These are the walls: hypointense mucosa, submucosa, hyperintense. We can see the muscular layer, followed by outside hyperintense is a mesorectal fat, and mesorectal fascia we can see next other image. Front will be the seminal vesicle. Primary tumor evaluation, what we need to understand is morphology, whether it is a polypoidal lesion, whether it is a annular, semi-annular, and also we can see here more hyperintense images are there. This is the mucinous tumor. In MRI we can say it is a mucinous or non-mucinous. If mucinous is there, which is also one of the poor prognosticate markers. This lesion we can see that here we are having peritoneal reflection. The tumor is below the peritoneal reflection, means most probably it is in the low rectum, and tumor is having well circumference and having a stalk at the one margin. So this tumor is approachable even from the transanally also. We can polypoidal lesion we can take out, and here we can see the semi-annular tumor. The intention here, if it is a semi-annular, wherever it is coming as a stock kind of thing, that side we need to, this side we need not to see where it is infiltrating. This side we can see that it is going till the muscle layer, and something which is appearing speculations, means which is going in T3A kind of thing is there, which we can delineate here. Tumor location, if it is there, we can see from anal verge till here it is 11 mm. It is mostly upper rectal tumor. Here we can see the tumor length from anal verge, it is around 7 centimeter, which is the mid rectum, and here it is at less than 5 centimeter, it is the low rectal tumor. And in this the measurement will be, we have to take from the anal verge and followed by how much length is there, it is a kind of low rectal tumor. Peritoneal reflection. Peritoneal reflection is also one of the important landmark in defining the tumor location, because the mid rectum anterior peritoneum will be there, low rectum peritoneum is divide of peritoneum. Peritoneal reflection ends at the mid rectum level. Peritoneal reflection is visible as a high resolution on axial and sagittal section. Basically, if we want to delineate the peritoneal reflection, sagittal and axial sequence are good. Display on the sagittal plane as a hypointense linear structure. Start from the posterior superior surface of the bladder, run posteriorly until insertion on the rectum. And tumor present below the peritoneal reflection are mainly low rectal tumor, where there is divide of peritoneum and only mesorectal fascia will be there. In axial planes, insertion of the peritoneum on the rectum, which form the V linear structure, that is known as a seagull sign. We'll see a few images of peritoneal reflections. Here we can see the peritoneum is there, which is getting reflected. Bladder posterior superiorly peritoneal reflection is there. Arrow is showing the peritoneal reflected area. Here axial section is there, where we can see seagull sign of peritoneal reflection here. This is a male pelvis and showing the peritoneal reflection in this area. Below that it will form the low rectal tumor. Here it is a seagull sign we can see on the axial section. This is the peritoneal reflection, where the peritoneum is coming and reflecting, and where is a small bowel part, and the axial section which is showing the peritoneum getting reflected. So we need to delineate the peritoneal reflection on the sagittal and axial section, so that below that whatever is low rectum, and above that we can tell that is there peritoneum is involved or not, that is T4A tumor or less than T4A tumor. These days MRI estimation of depth of invasion is accurate, whereas there will be a difference of less than 0.5 mm as compared to final pathological specimen. So MRI is very good at T staging. Around 80 to 90% of sensitivity specificity is there for MR to stay at T stage. But if comes a T1 or T2, MRI is not very good differentiating. Endorectal ultrasound is good, but that subset of tumor are very less in number. Semi-annular tumor, the depth of invasion should be assessed at the midpoint between the two raised edges. And if it is a polypoid, we should measure the depth of invasion starting from the tumor stalk. AGCC TNM staging, T1 is nothing but invading the submucosa, T2 is muscularis propria invasion, T3 is perirectal tissue, perirectal or pericolorectal tissue invasion, T4A is peritoneal invasion, T4B is adjacent structure, kind of prostate, seminal vesicle, uterus, vaginal involvement, or adjacent pelvic wall involvement is T4B. So in this image, we can see here the tumor is there limited to submucosa is T1, which is going up to the muscle layer is T2. If it is going till the mesorectal fascia, that is T3. If it is touching the peritoneum, is a T4, or invading the bladder or any organ is a T4B. Here also we can see the same thing coming up to the peritoneum on axial section. Peritoneum is T4A, going to any organ kind of prostate, bladder, vagina, uterus, or pelvic wall is a T4B. A T3, that is also one of the most important, along with MRF positive or negative, we'll discuss in subsequent slides. T3 has again subclassified into 4 category. We have to know that cutoff is less than 5 mm has a good prognostic, but more than poor prognostic, those tumor need something additional intensified treatment. Layer of rectal wall. Here we can see the mucosa, submucosa, hypointense, submucosa, and followed by hypointense mucosa. Submucosa is hyperintense, muscle is hypointense, and followed by the mesorectal fascia. Here we can see mucosa, submucosa, and muscularis propria, mesorectum, and mesorectal fascia. Extent of tumor and its relation with mesorectal fascia, which is also one of the important marker. On MRI, mesorectal fat is high signal intensity. If it is come mesorectal fascia, there is a fine line of low signal intensity. If we go for the fat suppressed image, the differentiation between the fat and fascia will become difficult. So fat suppressed images are not necessary for CA rectum. Here we can see that this is the mesorectum. Here the rectum is there, tumor is locating posteriorly. This is a mesorectal fascia, and anteriorly it is a mesorectal fascia is getting clubbed with the denonular fascia, and that is a peritoneal reflection. So here axial section we can see that bladder is there, prostate is there, anteriorly seminal vesicle in the low rectal tumor. This is the rectum and rectal wall and mesorectum fat, and surrounding that we can see there a thin hypointense line we can appreciate here, that is the mesorectum, mesorectal fascia. So we have to understand where is a tumor, whether it is involved the mesorectal fat, and is it reaching up to the mesorectal fascia. Mesorectal fascia involvement is nothing but the circumferential resection margin involvement is there or not, that we need to assess. Mesorectal fat we can assess here. This is the mesorectal fat, this is the lumen, this is the muscle, and this is the mainly mesorectal fat. Whatever I have tried to mark is mesorectal fascia. In the mesorectal fascia, this is the fat is mesorectal fat. Here also we can see that the delineation, it is the muscle, muscularis, and this is the fat, thin fat is there, and surrounding the fat, this is the mesorectal fascia. We have to delineate, so that if we try to delineate these normal structure, then it is easy when lesion is there to appreciate till the what level lesion is present. Here also we can see that the mesorectal fascia has been completely delineated by white arrows. And we can see in this image, this is the levator complex and the mesorectal fascia is there. Mesorectal fascia is there. Mesorectal fascia, we are aware that in last lecture also we discussed mesorectal fascia is complete circumferential only in the lower rectum, that is below the anterior peritoneal reflection. If it is come mid or high rectum, yeah, the mesorectal fascia apply only where peritoneum is not covering the rectum. If it is a high rectum, anterior and laterally peritoneum is covered, only posteriorly where it is non-peritonealized surface, that area is called mesorectal fascia. If it is come the mid rectum, anteriorly peritoneum is there, lateral and posteriorly we can label surrounding to the mesorectal fat is mesorectal fascia. And wherever peritonealized surface is there, we should not label mesorectal fascia. Mesorectal fascia, we can see in this image also, the mesorectum is there, and surrounding the mesorectum, this is the mesorectal fascia, here is a peritoneal reflection. And we can see this image, upper part, anterior and laterally, the mesorectal fat is there, which is covered anterior and laterally by the mesorectal peritoneum, and the posterior part is a mesorectal fascia. In mid rectum, we can see anteriorly covered by the peritoneum. The lateral part and posterior part is not covered, where the covering of mesorectal fat is by the mesorectal fascia. In lower rectum, mesorectal fat is very thin and it is completely covered by the mesorectal fascia. If it comes a T3 tumor, in T3 tumor, most of the tumor, whatever we are seeing, most number is locally advanced tumor. If it is not metastatic tumor, it will be either T3 or T4. Mostly number is T3 is more. In T3 as compared to colon, here lot of difference is there because anteriorly mesorectal fat, lateral mesorectal fat or posterior mesorectal fat is not equal. Posteriorly there will be a big bunch of fat will be there, anteriorly less fat will be there. If we come upper, mid or lower rectum, the mesorectal fat will be less in the lower rectum. So we need to know that not only if it is a T3, it means it is crossing beyond the muscle layer. The T3, we don't only want to know about what is T3, we want to know that how much it has went into the mesorectal fat. That is A, B, C, D they have classified. And also we want to know that if it is an invasive component, depth of invasion is there, maximum wherever it has invaded, how much centimeter away or how much millimeter away from the mesorectal fascia. Those both has prognostic value, and that is the most important, which can be better judged with the MRI. Good quality of T2 weighted MRI we can assess. That is T3 again classified into T3A, that is less than 1 mm, T3B 1 to 5 mm, T3C is 5 to 15 mm, T3D is more than 15 mm beyond the muscularis propria. Again, we need to know about the CRM negative. If it is more than 1 mm from the mesorectal fascia, that is CRM negative tumor they will call. And CRM positive is when the tumor is coming and touching to the mesorectal fascia is CRM positive. In fact, even if it is coming within 1 mm, this is called threatened or positive also. So if it is tumor, that is T3A and B less than 5 mm spread into the perirectal tissue or mesorectal tissue, those tumor has a good survival of 85% for 5 years if other adverse factor are not there and good TME has been done. If it is a T3 tumor, that is C and D, more than 5 mm of extramural spread is there, those 5 years survival is less. So definitely these tumors, something may be needed. It may be long course chemotherapy, or at present whatever they are recommending is short course chemotherapy if other adverse factors are not there. We need a more intense therapy, either maybe short course or long course before the surgery. CRM. CRM on MRI measured closest distance between MRF, that is mesorectal fat, with primary tumor, that we know. But CRM also considered when there is the distance between the extramural vascular invasion is very near to the mesorectal fascia, or metastatic node is near the mesorectal fascia, tumor deposit near the mesorectal fascia. In fact, what they do is, if the deposit is there other than the tumor less than 3 mm, they take as a tumor deposit, and more than 3 mm nodal deposit is there, that they take as a metastatic node, mesorectal node they will take. CRM, this is not only the criteria for the CRM, that is primary tumor, extramural venous invasion, metastatic node, tumor deposit. These are the 4 criteria. But when it comes to low rectal, again they will tell if it is violating the intersphincteric plane, going into the intersphincteric plane, or tumor is in relation with the levator ani, then we have to comment on CRM. If it is invading the levator ani, or it is infiltrating into the intersphincteric space, that is called CRM positive in low rectal tumor. That also we should know. Threatened or involved CRM as per NCCN, present NCCN guideline is less than 1 mm distance between the mesorectal fat with the tumor is a threatened or involved CRM. In this patient, if we go for upfront surgery, more than 20 to 30% of the patients are bound to get the local recurrence. So it is better to go ahead with the long course chemo and followed by surgery. And in low rectal tumor, lower third of tumor, we have to consider CRM along with levator muscle or intersphincteric plane also. Here CRM means more than 1 mm distance is there, MRF, that is mesorectal fascia or levator muscle or intersphincteric space with the tumor, or tumor deposit or nodal deposit or extramural invasion. It is not involving intersphincteric plane. So clear CRM going ahead surgery is indicated if we are planning for good TME surgery with proper good TME specimen we can deliver in those scenario. CRM more than 1 mm local recurrence if has went with a good TME is as low as 3%. So in this image, we can see that the tumor is there, tumor and stalk on the right lateral wall around 3 o'clock. The distance between the mesorectal fascia here and the tumor here is quite long. So mesorectal fascia is not involved. If we take this image, here the tumor is completely infiltrating the mesorectal fat with fascia going into the mesorectal fascia or beyond mesorectal fascia which is infiltrating. So here there is a threatened CRM is there. This is another good image. Here we can see that the tumor is there. The tumor which is around at 2 o'clock having the depth of invasion and which is going into the mesorectal fascia, mesorectal fat. But if we see the mesorectal fascia which is clear, so we can say that it is a CRM is negative. But same time, if we take this tumor here, the around at 7 o'clock, we can see that tumor is involving. Sorry, tumor is involving the mesorectal fat. In this image, we can see that there is a small deposit. It is less than 3 mm. We can tell as a tumor deposit or nodal deposit we can mention, which is very close to the our circumferential resection margin. Very close to our circumferential resection margin, where we can see that mesorectal fat, and this is very close to mesorectal fat. This is a tumor deposit, less than 3 mm tumor deposit. Here we can see that this is our mesorectal fat and this is a nodal deposit, bigger one nodal deposit. Here if it we consider as a more than 1 mm, here it is a clear CRM. If it is a less than 1 mm, we can tell that this is also a threatened or involved CRM we can label. EMVI. EMVI is extramural venous invasion. When tumor goes beyond the mural margin, means tumor goes beyond the muscular wall, then we have to see for the extramural invasion. If it is in the mural wall, we should need not to comment on that. If tumor is invading vein within the mesorectal fat, this is the mesorectal fat. If we see, this is the mesorectal fascia completely. And EMVI include the irregular expansion of the vessel. The tumor is going into the vessel and it is expanding, and nodularity is there, irregularity is there, and normal the flow is lost, flow wide is lost. The intensity, signal intensity in the vein is equivalent with the tumor, which may be a continuous or separate from the tumor, but signal intensity of the tumor which is going in the vein is equivalent with the tumor. So here we can see that this is a tumor, this is a mesorectal fat. Here it is limited, it is going beyond, and which is going in the vein and having the intensity as equivalent as to the tumor. This is the EMVI. In fact, they mentioned that EMVI is having 30 to 40% of the rectal cancer. In fact, MR EMVI is more precisely can be commented by the radiologist than the pathological EMVI. That study has also they have conducted that MRI wise EMVI can be better delineated even than the pathology wise. Non-contrast images, that T2 non-contrast, non-suppressive images are sufficient for EMVI also. EMVI is also one of the independent predictor of poor survival. It increases fivefold risk of local recurrence and also distant metastasis. If patient is having EMVI positive in T3 disease, definitely that patient need intensified therapy either as a short course or long course. Here we can see the examples. The tumor is here and vein is here. This is definitely EMVI is not present. And also we can see that the signal intensity, whatever mentioning here and tumor is something different. It may be a probably present, we cannot take. Here also it cannot be equivocal. Somewhere depth of invasion is something different and vein is something different, we need not to be. But last two if we take, here this is the tumor having intermediate signal intensity with apparent vessel, and something is appearing that which is infiltrating. It is the probably. But when tumor is there, the intensity in the vein is equivalent to the tumor intensity. Obvious irregularity and expansion of vessel is there, nodular expansion is there. Definitely we can label this is a EMVI and this is a probably EMVI. And if we label EMVI present in T3 tumor, it is also one of the poor prognostic marker. Here we can see that this is the tumor which is in the wall and which is going into the mesorectal fat. If we take a mesorectal fascia, this is a mesorectal fascia. And if we see that something is going into the vein, this is kind of the EMVI. Here also we can see that it is going in the EMVI is there, and also there is a mesorectal, large nodes are there very close to the mesorectal fascia. Assessment of lymph node. Lymph node is also one of the important, not only mesorectal, also extra mesorectal nodes are also important. MR has a low accuracy distinguish between the positive and negative lymph node if only based on the size alone. A 5 mm node also can be metastatic, and 9 mm node, if it is a 7 or 8 mm node, it may be a non-metastatic. So if we go along with only size, we may land in fallacies. So we need to know along with the size, the border contour, signal intensity of the node, and we have to take a 2-3 factor, then we should predict about the whether it is a metastatic node or is there or non-metastatic node. Mesorectal node, here we can see that this is the mesorectum and there are multiple nodes are there larger than 3 mm. We can label them as a nodes are there. This has been nicely mentioned. Malignant characteristics are if borders are indistinct and the heterogeneity is there in the node, and node is almost round. These are the three malignant characteristics. If suppose tumor is less than 5 mm, all three are there. In spite of small node, we can label it as a metastatic lymph node or suspicious metastatic lymph node. If it is a 5 to 9 mm, we need at least two malignant characteristic, either indistinct or heterogeneous or round, either two. Yeah, along with the 5 to 9 mm, we can label it as a metastatic. And more than 9 mm, we should always tell, in spite of not having this characteristic, we can label them as a suspicious of metastatic or malignant characteristic lymph node. Only presence of node or number of node is not important. Along with that, if we label at a node is there, how much distance away from the mesorectal fascia make big difference. If suppose node is there very close to the muscle, that node having poor prognosis is less than the node which is there near the mesorectal fascia less than 1 mm, because even if you do TME surgery, tend to get the positive CRM. In those things, we need to know about the not only number, not only whether it is a malignant and benign, we need to know from the radiologist that that present node, if it is near the mesorectal fascia, how much distance, whether it is a positive CRM or negative CRM. If suppose it is a positive CRM, even one node, we may need to give a complete long course chemo-RT. That is the important thing. Here we can see that there is a nodes are there, few nodes are there. One is close to the mesorectal fascia. Here it is a close to the mesorectal fascia. So this is a CRM involved, CRM involvement node we can label. Here we can see that outside this is a mesorectum, and outside the mesorectum we are having a node. Extramesorectal node. Extramesorectal node, if radiologist missed and if he is giving T3 disease and there is few nodes in the mesorectum, if there is extramesorectal node is there, that if not irradiated or if it is larger not taken out, that may be one of the cause for recurrence. So we need to know about any extramesorectal node if at all present. If it is there, we have to plan the radiation according to radiate that node also. And surgically, if it is a smaller node, we can leave after radiation, but if it is a larger node, we have to plan to take out the node if it is feasible. Here we can see that the mesorectum is there, outside the mesorectum node is there, mostly in iliac group of node is there. After T3, in T3 we have seen the mesorectum CRM, extramural invasion, nodal status. Now T4, T4A is invasion of the peritoneal reflection, that is involvement of the peritoneum, mainly at the upper and mid rectum. If we see here, here peritoneal reflection is clear. If we see in this image, here peritoneal reflection is completely involved. So it is a T4A tumor. T4B invasion of the surrounding organ, tumor invading surrounding structures such as pelvic wall, vagina, prostate, bladder, uterus, seminal vesicle. These are the T4B tumor. In this tumor, we need more intensified therapy and as a neoadjuvant treatment, and also we may need a surgery, more extensive kind of exentration kind of surgery we may need to do in these patients. So here we can see that prostate is completely distinct, thin line we can see. So it is not involved. So we can consider this tumor for upfront surgery. Here we can see a prostate is tumor is involving the anterior structure also. So it is more of T4B tumor. Here also we can see, here we see here, but it is not clear. Here somewhere it is thin line is there. Here we are not clear. Most probably we should take as a involvement at one age, around 1 o'clock. In this image we can see that the tumor is there, which is infiltrating seminal vesicle also and going into the prostate. So it is a T4B tumor. In this tumor, we can see the tumor in the rectum, mid upper rectum, and connecting with the uterus, completely invading the uterus. So these tumor need a long course chemotherapy also. Along with that, we may need to go for the exentration. Axial section, we can see that the mesorectum is there and tumor at the mural infiltrating around at 1 o'clock going into the uterus. In this patient, we can see that this is a tumor is there and this tumor is getting connecting with a bladder connection is there and it has formed the fistula, rectovesical fistula has formed. Relation of the low rectal tumor with the sphincter complex, that is also one of the important factor. If it comes the low rectum, in that many things depends on the MR finding. Here we can see that the internal sphincter and external sphincter, levator is getting the levator and mesorectum will be very thin in the low rectum and there will be complete mesorectal fascia only, circumferentially 360-degree mesorectal fascia, and this is the anorectal junction, and here we can take a anal verge area. If we see here this image, same thing of schematic image, we can see that this is a levator continuing as external sphincter and this part is a white, in between the two sphincter is intersphincteric plane and inside whatever dark is there, that is the internal sphincter, and this is the line of the anal verge, anal canal, and here is the anal verge level and this is the levator level. So depending upon the tumor where it lies, we have to go for the different strategy. The strategy may be we can consider this as a low AR or ultra low AR if tumor is away, good away from the levator complex or pelvic floor. If it is going into the internal muscle only, internal sphincter only, and intersphincteric plane are free, we can consider as a intersphincteric resection or APR we can consider this patient. And if suppose tumor is going into the levator or intersphincteric plane or going down to the anal verge within 1 or 2 centimeter of anal verge, those patients may need a extra levator APR. So upper and mid rectal tumor we can consider as a 5 or 2 centimeter distal to the tumor margin as anterior resection. Low rectal tumor we can consider a low AR or staple filing on the pelvic floor where sphincter is preserved, and we can go for the low rectal tumor as a low AR and ultra low AR. If tumor is less than 1 centimeter or reaching the anal verge but it is contained within the internal sphincter, we can consider this patient for APR. If it goes to intersphincteric space, external sphincter, levator ana complex, but not involving any adjacent pelvic organ or pelvic floor, we can consider extra levator, that is APR along it taking out the levators. Intersphincteric dissection when tumor is close to anorectal ring and the involve only intersphincter, internal sphincter, but sparing the intersphincteric space and adjacent pelvic organ, we can consider intersphincteric resection in a good candidate having good tone. Exentration, if adjacent organ involved, we can consider exentration. If involving of the lateral pelvic wall, we should not do anything. It is an unresectable tumor. We should consider for after giving chemotherapy and then reassessing what's happening. Here, few of the example we can take. First example, we can see that it has preserved the internal intersphincteric plane. Means tumor is limited to internal sphincter, that is T2 tumor. In this, we can see that the tumor has gone into the external sphincter region also. This is a mucinous tumor. It has gone beyond the intersphincteric, extended to the external sphincter. Here we can see the tumor is here. We can have the thin lining, but here it has involving the levator. So this patient will go to the chemotherapy followed by extra levator resection. MR is not only a primary staging, it is also most important in restaging setting, because in restaging we may get the downsize, we may get a complete clinical response patient. Sometimes we may need to keep them under observation without doing anything, that is wait and watch protocol we may need to follow. In those settings, it is valuable to assess the regression, how much it is getting regress. We can tailor surgical planning. If we are getting good margin, negative margin, we planned, if suppose the tumor is appearing to infiltrate the prostate, but we have given chemo-RT anteriorly fibrotic on diffusion weighted images, and we are able to get the plane, we can consider without doing anything excitation, we can take out the tumor anteriorly. Also we can tailor our surgical planning based on the MRI after giving chemo-RT. We can detect the complete clinical response and review with a digital rectal examination endoscopic procedure, and suitable candidate and well explained candidate who is willing for the frequent follow-up, we can consider them for the wait and watch protocol. And we can monitor the patient who are undergoing non-surgical. We need a frequent MRI that we have discussed prior also. Post neoadjuvant chemo-RT, if suppose this tumor is there and having a node, what will happen after giving chemo-RT? This also has reduced nodal signal. It is a heterogeneous, it is becoming homogeneous. Nodal signal also will decrease. So that is a good responsive tumor. If you see here, tumor is non-mucinous tumor and getting the mucinous degeneration is forming. So tumor is getting shrunken and mucinous degeneration is forming, and it is a good responding tumor. Response is assessed by downstaging. Downstaging means the tumor is there prior, which is having T3 component, which is getting shrunken, means T3 is getting T2 or T4 is getting T3, that is getting shrunken. That is a downstaging. What is downsizing? If you see, the extent of tumor is very long, but it is decreasing in the extent, not only depth, longitudinal axis also it is getting shrunken. That is downsizing, we can assess in the response. CRM status, suppose the patient is having threatened CRM after giving long course chemo-RT and waiting for 6 to 8 weeks, the CRM may become clear. On diffusion weighted images, we can see that rather than neoplastic, the tumor is having more fibrotic component, and node can regress in size. And the homogeneous node, where we have seen last image that the node is homogeneous, which is become heterogeneous, that is also one of the good indicator. So here we ends our section about the MR rectum surgeon's perspective. I will be very happy to answer if there is any question. Thank you. Thank you for giving me opportunity to present once again.
Thank you, Dr. Samrat, for this excellent presentation. And as usual, I congratulate you for these excellent images and illustrations. I think you are the best on doing that. Again, I will ask the audience if anybody had questions.
Thank you, sir.
The right protocol.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
May I ask a question, please?
Yes, sir.
Hi, Dr. Janka. Well done. Thank you for the very beautiful presentation. I'm Hazim. I'm a trainee in UK. What's your approach with regard to complete radiological response post CRT treatment?
Sir, post CRT, if there is a complete complete clinical response is there, tumor is regress, having a regression on MRI, along with the endoscopic, we are having only white scar is there or no tumor is there, and finger also digital rectal examination, if it is a low or mid, we are not seeing anything. we can keep them as under follow-up if they are willing to come for the frequent follow-up. There are few patients are there, they are going with a wait and watch policy without getting anything problem during the follow-up course. One patient has almost completed 4 years of follow-up. There was no issue for the patient.
Will you give the patient the choice of whether to go?
Definitely, sir. At present, there is no strong evidence, class 1 level evidence to tell that it is a standard course of therapy. In fact, if we see the literature, clinical complete response, we can see around 30 to 50% of the patient. But pathological complete response, they mention around the 15 to 20% of the patient. Means somewhere still we need to have a good imaging or somewhere some other parameter which will confidently if we take a MR for detecting the CRM, which is as good as pathological CRM which has been mentioned, but which is not their pathological complete response, clinical complete response is not at present equivalent. I think with involvement or improvement in technology, if we are getting something clinical complete response is as equivalent as pathological complete response, that time we can tell that it is a standard course of therapy, we should go ahead. But at present, we'll explain everything to the patient that this is one of the approach where quality of life without compromising we can go, but we need to keep under good surveillance. If at all it is recurring, we are having opportunity to go ahead with surgery. Well explained and willing patient we can consider, sir.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, anybody who had a question, just unmute yourself and ask the question. Mr. Janka, just for in Sudan here, we have a problem with the machine and we have the problem with the protocol. That's why always our MRIs are not very informative and we depend mostly on CT. I think, as you rightly say, if you want to have a good quality images, you have to have the right machine and the right protocol. Unfortunately, unfortunately, till now, we don't have that. So most of the time we depend on CTs. But as you hear, you explained very, very well that an MRI is superior in the rectum.
Yes, when it comes to mid and low rectum, where lot of things involved for the management of the CA rectum, where MRI scores over the CT. But good CT, few of the radiologists, as I have seen mentioning that on good CT also they give. But at present, current standard of approach, whatever they are mentioning is good quality of MRI if it is available, which give more precise and more tailored approach towards the rectal malignancy.
Okay, there is somebody asking what is CRM?
A CRM is nothing but circumferential resection margin. Circumferential resection margin. Just 1 second, I will take that image so that we can clarify about that. Just give me a 1 second, sir.
Okay.
I think it will be useful if you explain the R resection, so R0 and R1 at the same time. Thank you.
CRM on MRI, whenever we take any MRI, if first of all we have to get clarified about that, CRM is applicable for non-peritonealized surface of the rectum. Mainly, if we take complete lower rectum around the, just 1 second, sir. If we take this is the rectum and we suppose this is the low rectum, here whatever the fascia is there, where whatever this is fascia is there, mesorectal fascia will call. Why this concept of CRM they have brought is, if this is a mesorectal fascia, from there if we take this tumor obviously this tumor is more than 1 mm. So it is negative CRM. CRM is nothing but circumferential resection margin. In any other tumor, we'll take as a distal and proximal margin. Suppose colon is there, give 5 centimeter to 10 centimeter distal and proximal margin. We are free from getting the recurrence. We are free from getting the problem in the future. But in case of rectum, not only proximal and distal margin, also circumferential margin, which is more important. We have to stress on that. Based on that only, Bill Hill has developed the proper TME, where what they call is circumferential resection margin. Suppose this is a tumor, from this is the area, this is the mesorectal fascia. What we do is, along with the mesorectal fascia, we take a tumor out. So this will become the circumferential resection margin. Now we need to know from the pathologist and also radiologist, if it is a preoperative from the radiologist, if it is a postoperative from the pathologist, that whether this margin is involved. What they will, if tumor is coming here and tumor is positive here, definitely it is involved. That is a positive CRM. And also preoperatively, if this tumor is very close to here, means if you are doing even very good TME, then there is a risk of this tumor going to cause local recurrence. So any tumor which is touching the mesorectal fascia or which is 1 millimeter vicinity of the mesorectal fascia, that is called the positive CRM in preoperative setting. And if it is more than 1 mm, so that is called negative CRM. So coming to this concept, that this much we have to understand, that CRM is the circumferential resection margin, the distance between the closest distance between the mesorectal fascia along with the tumor. But that is not only a tumor, also extramural venous invasion is there, or mesorectal metastatic node is there, or a tumor deposit is there. All four component we have to consider. We have to consider away whatever the distance is there. If suppose here it is a T3 tumor, here one node is there, so we have to take that nodal distance, how much is there. If suppose that is less than 1 mm, then we have to tell it is a threatened or involved CRM. Suppose here one vein is there which is going like this and which is very close to the mesorectal fascia, then we have to call it as a CRM positive. So based on that, they have labeled CRM whether positive or negative. And also if you take a low rectal tumor, in that also, if tumor is within 1 mm of levator complex or tumor is invading the intersphincteric fascia, that is called CRM. On gross, we have to tell about the tumor. But if you take all the factor, all 5 factor, we have to take, if it is a close to the mesorectal fascia, we have to measure the distance between the any one of the factor, and based on that, if it is more than 1 mm, we can call negative CRM. If it is less than 1 mm or involved, we have to call a positive CRM. Biggest importance of this is, if there is involvement of CRM, we are going to have more than 20 to 30% local recurrence. The most major issue of the rectum is not about the distance met, it is about the painful local recurrence. Positive CRM is going to have local recurrence. If we are knowing that patient is having positive CRM perspective to anything, it is better to irradiate the patient with long course. That is a main crux of the CRM concept. Hello, sir. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. Thank you for making this very clear. Looks like Prof. Omar has a connection problem. So anyone would, if you have any questions, please unmute yourself. Go ahead. Okay, so if no further question, would like to thank you very much, Dr. Samrat Jankar, for this is awesome presentation.
Thank you.
Mr.
Thank
Omar?
you, Samrat. Thank you very much. I have a problem with the connection, but it is very useful. I think if it will be very helpful if you send us the protocol for the MRI, you mentioned
Yes.
very good points in it. If you can send us that, the requirement for doing a good MRI for the rectum, that will be very helpful.
Yes, sir. Our institute protocol I will share, sir. But whatever I have mentioned initially in disclosure 3 article, I felt these article are really wonderful. One from the Dr. Avinash Saklani, another 2 article are there. Those article
Excellent.
has given the protocol really nice, sir.
Excellent. Excellent. Again, thank you very much for sharing your experience with our club. And as usual, very informative. And we hope everybody a good night. And thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good night, sir.
Thank you, Sakar. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good evening to all. I am thankful to Sudan Surgical Club members giving me opportunity to talk on MR rectum surgeon perspective. Another wonderful webinar we are going to start. I bring greeting from Symbiosis University International University located in outskirts of Pune in 100 acres of green land having multiple universities inside. I come from Symbiosis University Hospital, that is a medical university. I bring greeting from Symbiosis University Hospital Line Research Center, Pune, and Namaste from India. As compared to colon, if there is a management of CA rectum, there are many issues. Distance metastasis as compared to colon, it is less, but most important issue is local recurrence. At the same time, doing morbid surgery on the rectum has a big impact on quality of life. The goals of rectal cancer surgery is giving good oncological outcome without compromising quality of life of the patient. When it comes to the treatment of rectal cancer surgery as compared to other cancer, it is completely different. If you come to know that available modality, we are having surgery also in 15 centimeter of rectum. It may be high anti-resection, low anti-resection, ultra low anti-resection, intrasphincteric resection, abdominoperineal resection, and now there is extra levator APR. And if you come to radiation, the radiation treatment also short course giving 5 gyri for 5 days, long course giving for almost 1 month, and total neoadjuvant chemotherapy where chemotherapy and radiation completely giving beforehand of surgery. And chemotherapy also, it may be neoadjuvant, it may be adjuvant, it may be sandwich, it may be combined. And if the available modality combined for particular cancer depending upon the characteristic of the patient, depending upon the cancer stage, cancer presentation, there are multiple permutation and combination. We can have upfront surgery, we can have short course or long course, upfront radiation followed by surgery, that is neoadjuvant treatment. We can have complete chemo RT and chemotherapy completion before the hand of surgery and complete the surgery. And also very early T1 disease which is accessible, which can go for local excision. It may be TEM, it may be TAMIS, or if patient has underwent a long course chemo RT and very well responder, we can think of wait and watch policy also. The local recurrence is the main important factor, that is Achilles heel of carcinoma rectum management. There are many reasons for local recurrence, but few of them are most important. Bill Hill described a wonderful TME concept. If we follow the TME concept, local recurrence is even less than 5% in early T3 disease. But if you violate the TME concept, local recurrence bound to. Miss adverse prognostic factor. Important bad prognostic factor such as extramural invasion, the metastatic node, MRF positive, CRM threatened. These are the important thing. If we miss preoperatively, chance of local recurrence is very high. And most important thing is treatment planning. Which patient should go for afferent surgery, which patient should have a short course radiation, and which patient should have long course radiation. All things we have to decide properly in multidisciplinary meeting. When it comes to management of CA rectum, there are two schools of thought. What we follow is NCCN guideline till now, that is all disease T1, T2, early disease N0, M0 should go for surgery. If it is limited to submucosa, can go for local excision, TEM, TAMIS, or if it is a T2 disease, any adverse factor, nodal disease, anything is there, has to go for TME surgery. But this category is very limited, maybe less than 10 or 5% of rectum only will present in this stage. But most of the patient that is a locally advanced tumor, that is a T3, T4, N1, N2 local unresectable tumor, has to go for neoadjuvant chemotherapy, that is long course chemotherapy followed by surgery. But if you see this chunk of locally advanced carcinoma rectum is more than 90% of patient, all patient where it is starting T2 disease having desmoplastic reaction into the mesorectal fat also appears as a T3 on MRI, and also unresectable tumor which is involving the surrounding organs such as bladder, prostate, or seminal vesicle. All patients are going into the long course chemotherapy, which is not acceptable. So we need something, the tailored approach for this locally advanced carcinoma rectum based on the patient and tumor factor, so that we can deliver optimal therapy. We should not over radiate the tumor, and also we should not allow local recurrence. So that is the main challenge at present for the carcinoma rectum. So important shortcoming of TNM staging and based on that NCCN treatment is, one is it doesn't consider mesorectal fascia involvement or not, that is circumferential resection margin, which is a most important criteria, prognostic criteria has been mentioned at present in a lot of studies. Also nodal status, it doesn't mean that mesorectal node is important. Mesorectal node from 5 mm to 9 mm, it may be metastatic or non-metastatic based on the nodal characteristic, whether heterogeneous or homogeneous or irregularity or distinct border. But it is also important that if anything extra mesorectal node is there, which is more important negative prognostic marker, and also if it is a mesorectal node which is located near the mural tissue is not bad. If it is located mesorectal fascia, which will be the bad prognostic factor, which has to be stressed, which is not stressed. And also EMVI, extramural venous invasion in T3 disease, has more bad prognostic than the patient without extramural invasion of early T3. And we need to understand the relation of the tumor with the sphincter complex, because the tumor located very close to the levator, in spite of it is T2, may need a radiation to downstage or downgrade the tumor so that we can get a negative margin and tumor negative margin. And also based on relation of the tumor with the sphincter complex, we can have multiple different operative planning. So we need to understand these things beforehand going for any plan treatment for carcinoma rectum. Compared to NCCN, the European approach is something different. Here, they have classified a tumor as a good tumor or low risk tumor, where MRF, mesorectal fascia, is negative, EMV is negative, node and METs are not there, and patient is early T3 or T1, T2 disease. Those patient risk of local recurrence is less than 10. If you follow good TME concept, it may be less than 5%, then TME only sufficient. If we go for mesorectal fascia negative, but some adverse factor, that is node is there, EMUA is there, or T3 late T3, that is T3 more than 5 mm involvement, T3C or D, or early T2, T3 where distal margin is a issue. Distal margin is also considered to be a CRM. The T4 disease only involving posterior vaginal wall, where we can think of bad disease, that is intermediate disease. Local recurrence may range from 10 to 20%. These patients definitely need something to sterilize locally, which may be short course RT. At present, lot of evidence is coming, or we can think of long course chemo RT. If patient is having mesorectal fascia involvement, lateral node, that is extra mesorectal node involvement, or T4 which is beyond posterior vaginal wall, these patients are bad ugly disease, that is high risk disease. Local recurrence is more than 20%. These patients should get a proper long course chemo RT followed by TME. So it appears more rational treatment based on what kind of disease is there in locally advanced pattern. If we go for treatment of carcinoma rectum, many factor which is deciding. So important is T disease, nodal status, distant metastasis, extramesorectal node, morphological pattern of the disease, extramural venous invasion, circumferential resection margin status, and distant from anal verge or anorectal junction, also relation with anal sphincter complex. So we will see how to deal with them. To disclose, most of the images I have taken from this mainly 3 article. These I think I recommend these articles should read to understand the MR rectum in detail. So also few of the images I have taken from the Google and Shacklefold. One important disclosure is I am not radiologist, I am the surgeon. I am trying to give approach towards the MRI for deciding kind of treatment which surgeon has to understand.